Soweto's burgeoning electricity bill continues to be quite a major bone of contention. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi recently tweeting the finance minister asking for the township's R5 billion debt to be scrapped. It wouldn't be the first time, though. Around R8 billion was written off back in 2020. And experts are saying doing so again will only lead to non-compliance and lead to further problems. So let's get some perspective now from Soweto's residents. Joining us is Trevor Ngwane from the Soweto Electricity Crisis Committee, joining me this morning just to take this conversation forward. And Trevor, good morning to you and happy Monday. What's your perspective with regards to what the Premier Panyaza Lesufi had to say regarding Eskom debt in the township?
Good morning to Melo and your viewers. Yeah, well, Lesufi has got a point, but what we need in South Africa, is a comprehensive national response to the energy crisis. So I can see that Gauteng Premier, for example, the finance minister, is only addressing the debt which Eskom owes the banks. But I think what Lesufi is saying is that we must also address the debt which is owed to Eskom. Then if you compare the two to Melo, Eskom is owing 400 billion and is owed, let's say, by Sowetans 4 billion, 5 billion. So if you compare the two, clearly, the priority should be to help Eskom with the big debt. But at the same time, Dumelo, in 2008, when there was a financial crisis in the world, the problem is that the people who got bailed out were the banks, not ordinary people. If you go to LA in the US till today, people are living in tents, they're living in caravans because they lost their houses. So I think both sides must be catered for.
Yeah. So what do you make of the view that if, the Eskom debt is, of course, scrapped, talking about the context of Soweto here, it's almost building a culture of non-compliance, of not taking responsibility for one's debt. Different experts and professionals coming on board, weighing in, Trevor, and saying that there's no free lunch. Sowetans need to pay for their own debt.
Yeah, but that's a bit unfair because they are only looking at it from the point of view of the big bosses. What about the debt which Eskom piled up? The reason Eskom is owing the banks 400 billion is because of corruption, mismanagement, incompetence, failure to run its bills, failure to run its business properly. So I would say that if Finance Minister Gauteng Premier is going to bail out Eskom, we could say also, is he promoting corruption, mismanagement, and incompetence?
We reflect on what the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, had to say regarding debt being written off. Now, he says that it needs to be written off under special conditions. Do you think this is a special condition for Gauteng Premier to consider?
Yeah, I think both sides must be addressed. I mean, there's an energy crisis. There's a war in the Ukraine. There is a crisis of democracy throughout the world. So, we shouldn't view issues, compartmentalize, isolate them. In any case, the ANC has got a different problem. It is realizing that it has messed up running South Africa. And as you saw with the e-tolling, it's willing to take radical steps to actually address the situation. So we must encourage it to do that rather than being cynical and only looking from the point of view of the rich and the powerful. The poor, the unemployed, the grannies must also be helped, be considered in the big plan to sort out South Africa.
Right. And then just my last question to you, Trevor, before I let you go. Should the Eskom debt, the Soweto Eskom debt, be scrapped, how would you then advise for Soweto not to find itself in this situation again? What's your warning to government as well to ensure that they keep tabs on, Soweto and Eskom's debt, not to find themselves in another situation such as this?
Yes, so electricity, energy should be viewed as a right, as a basic service which everyone must get. At the moment, Eskom is doing the opposite. Eskom is busy trying to remove the cross-subsidy on tariffs from the rich to the poor. It's trying to make everyone, big business, grannies in Soweto, to pay the same amount of money. But whereas what we should do is that the poor, those who use less, must be charged less per unit, and those who use more should be charged more per unit. Remember, we've got the problem of ecological challenge is climate change. So we should discourage the big energy users from abusing energy.
All right, we'll leave it there. I appreciate you speaking to me. Trevor Ngwane, always a pleasure talking to you. Soweto Electricity Crisis Committee member Trevor Ngwane joining us this morning, saying that indeed the poor in this instance need to be prioritized, and those who use less energy should be charged less, but those who use more should be charged more. In essence, agreeing that the ESCOM debt in Soweto needs to be scrapped. All right.